Let's chop some wood. Palmer, you lead us off, man.
Good. I will chop wood about Nolan Smith and his future in football. Yes, he has got a great future, as probably has a great future as a player, but I think he definitely has a great future as a coach. Talked about it at the Combine. I may have mentioned it on that show, how much he wants to get into coaching. He said he wanted to start at the high school level because he could have a major impact on guys. Today, he revealed some bigger plans. Over the last couple of weeks, I guess he's developed these bigger plans, and he wants to be the Kirby Smart's successor. Big shoes to fill.
Wow.
I mean, Kirby's won 2 national championships already.
Ring, huh?
Yeah. I mean, but Nolan says 4 Petes, 5 Petes. Those are his goals, not repeats. He wants to win. He wants to win them all. Obviously, I think that's a little bit tongue in cheek there, but I do think Nolan Smith would be one hell of a coach. Talked about, the kind of impact that he could have. I think he would be a great recruiter. Just go look at the recruiting pitch that he gave on NFL Network. He talked about that some today, talked about how important it was for him to have that moment to share about Georgia. You can tell UGA means a lot to him. And, I think Nolan Smith, maybe it's a joke, but I do think Nolan Smith would be a great coach one day.
Yeah, I mean, that's I don't want to say you're stealing Jake Rowe's thunder there, but that's something we've talked about.
It'd be really fun to see Nolan Smith come back as the head coach.
Oh man, absolutely. Listen, I'll tell you this: I don't think he would have any problem getting a graduate assistant job like that tomorrow.
No,
they'd welcome him with open arms. And talk about a recruiter.
Now what's funny about this is he could make a lot of money as a player, and he's going to make a lot of money as a player, but it's not often that you've got a guy who you're like, hey man, this guy's got several different ways he can become a millionaire pretty quick. And he could within 5-6 years be making probably close to $1 million, or at least have stockpiled $1 million as a coach. I mean, like you said, graduate assistant, gets his master's degree. I think he gets snatched up real quickly, especially because he's going to do that guy on the left is going to do exactly what that guy on the right tells him to do. And because he's one of the most coachable players I think that's ever come through that program. And if he does that guy on the right made a lot of money in a short period of time because he figured out, how to climb the ranks and what it took. And he said it before, if you want to be an assistant coach one day, then you recruit like one and you dress like one. And, I think Nolan Smith would take a similar path and be there really quick.
Now, I think he's going to have a better playing career than Kirby did, though.
Oh, no doubt. 100% already have.
Yeah.
Hot
Not
take
Kirby
alert.
was a bad player. He was good, but Nolan's going to play in the end.
We've mentioned Connor on the show already, so I'll bring up a debate that Connor and I were having today and bring it on here. Is who had a better Georgia career? Because Kirby was once an all-SEC player. Nolan never was.
Kirby doesn't have the hardware. I mean, Kirby didn't.
As a player, though, I mean, as an individual, not a part of a team. Yeah, Kirby was not part of national championship teams as a player, but I mean, as an individual, was as an individual player, was he better?
I'll tell you. Yeah, here's.
You think Kirby was better than Nolan?
No, Nolan was.
If we're judging it on complete totality, like Kirby may have stacked somewhat better stats, right? Or like you said, all SEC.
Right,
whatever.
those accolades, all SEC.
Kirby Smart would have been pushed into the fire if somebody could have had Nolan Smith over Kirby Smart. They would have thrown him in front of a train, man.
Off the 40th story balcony of a hotel.
Kirby himself has said he would not have recruited himself, which I think is all you need to know.
Matthew C. No, Kirby does not share the team INT record. Dominic Sanders has more. Bakari Rambo has more for sure.
Fudge.
Yeah, Jamon Fudge. I saw Jamon out downtown the night that we both graduated at the same time. I think he came back to school because he was a little bit older than me. and I asked him what his plans were after college, and I'd had a few. I thought I was putting a pretty good joke on him, and Jamon Fudge did not like that joke. Anywho, I'll chop wood about Kirby Smart and Mike Bobo. This episode's been all about Pro Day, obviously, but we did get to hear from Kirby yesterday as spring practice begins. And as soon as this video is over, I want y'all to check out a couple things. I want you to go check out those press conferences. You get to hear from Kendall Milton. You get to hear from Kirby Smart. You get to hear from Ladd McConkey, Rad Ladd, and the Dogs are turning the page, turning a new leaf. But specifically, it's the first time we've gotten to hear Kirby really talk about Mike Bobo and the ways that he kind of confounded and confused him when they played each other in that Auburn game. I guess it would have been in 2021. Is that right?
Yeah.
So go check that out.
He was the interim at South Carolina in 2020 when they.
That's
played.
right.
That was Bobo's first game as interim.
And then the On3 national interview with J.D. Piquel and David Pollock. Pollock has not really a hot take. It's a lukewarm take that Carson Beck will be Georgia's starting quarterback. You may or may not find that interesting, but a little tease. He's got a little bit of wisdom. He's got a little bit of knowledge on how things will shake out between Georgia and Tennessee and Alabama moving forward in the SEC. So y'all go check that out and hear what 47 has to say about the Volunteers. Tennessee man isn't in here, so somebody let him know about that.
All right. If I'm chopping wood, it can only be really about one thing, and that's that Dylan Raiola is expected to be on campus this weekend. That's been the talk for some time. I'm in a real believe it when you see it kind of mode with Dylan Raiola and his visit stuff. Not to say that he's dishonest, but just sometimes stuff doesn't come to fruition in the way that you hope it does. There's quick changes, that kind of thing. So Dylan Raiola, big, huge visit for Georgia. Look, USC, that team that's really surged ahead, it feels like, and that felt like it came off the back of a visit that he spent there. Nebraska is certainly a team to watch out for. We've talked about all the reasons for that. Family connections. To me, there's no program that needs Dylan Raiola more than Nebraska in terms of long-term trajectory and what he means in the immediate. And then you've got Georgia lurking back there right now in third place on the On3 RPM. The Dogs are still in this thing, man. And I continue to hear that, and I continue to know people that feel good about it. So we'll see how this one goes. I think that this is a very, very big visit for Georgia. I think that these spring visits are especially crucial for Dylan Raiola. I haven't gotten the sense that he's ready to commit or pull any triggers anytime soon, but I do think that it's a crucial stretch moving into the summer. So if he makes this visit and it goes the way that Kirby Smart and company will be hoping, can really reposition Georgia in a big way. He's not the only one either. There's a lot of guys coming in this weekend, so be looking for a big visit.
Roos, tell me.
I know what you're laughing at. I can see it too.
Roos's fridge looks about the size of an RV.
Dog has the sticks out. He's got marshmallows on him. He is roasting.
It's a depth perception thing, man. We're playing angles here, okay? It's a full size refrigerator.
It's actually a very large kitchen.
Put his arm up and put his fridge on it.
Meanwhile, Tomahawk Dog has me over here researching better internet connection.
Yeah, Tomahawk Dog just signs on and roasts us.
One beer at a time for Roos in that fridge, baby.
Man, listen, we get them cold, we sit the next one in there. Matthew C. says, I think Raiola has gone to the Heisman factory, aka whatever team Lincoln Riley coaches. I'm not disagreeing with that, honestly. I think that makes a lot of sense, personally. If you're a top-tier quarterback, if you want accolades, you want stats, that makes a lot of sense, man. I mean, it is what it is. Now, what can Mike Bobo do with a guy like that? What could Todd Monken have done with a guy like that? We don't really have those answers. We don't know. But what we do, we do know what Lincoln Riley can do with guys like that, and that's compelling, man. It really is. At the end of the day, also, Georgia's got a quarterback commit. They got a really solid one, and Chad Simmons did a great story with him the other day. Ryan Puglisi said other teams are pressing. I'm locked in with Georgia. I had mentioned him a couple weeks ago, I think, on Choppin Wood. Mm-hmm. He's very solidly committed to the Dogs, and they need to feel good about that.
He is not backing down. Ro, before we get to you, Bruce, what's like a visit during spring practice compared to a visit during like the dead of winter? I almost imagine that when things are a little bit more lively, guys are hopping around, there's energy because of spring practice. I almost have to imagine that those visits, not that Georgia just sucks and mails it in on the other ones, but I have to imagine that those visits have a little bit more pep in the step for Kirby's coaching staff.
No, they're cool. I mean, it's the January visits, in my opinion, are a little bit better because there's really just no football happening. So you're able to devote a little bit more time face to face. Whereas in this instance, you got spring practice rolling. You're obviously focused on that to some degree, but it's a good window for Georgia to recruit in at this time. It's much better, in my opinion, than a game day, which is a total. You've got a few windows of time that you can pack things in, and that's about it. The rest of it's devoted, obviously, to what's going on between the hedges. So these are big visits, man. These are important visits and very compelling visits. I think especially, we've already got a couple of names on that OV tracker over at DawgsHQ circled for that G-Day game. I think that's going to be a really impressive one when all's said and done. A couple of OVs already lined up there, and I think that's a great time to take them for sure because, look, the game is what it is. It's an inter-squad scrimmage. So, spring visits, don't underrate them. They set a big tone for how things play out, I think, going into the summer.
Cool. Good stuff. All right, Ro, take us home.
All right. I'm going to chop wood listen, I was watching the NFL Combine, and I was looking at the NFL Combine gear. It says no bull on it. I'm like, what the heck is this? So I start looking around and find out today.
No, it says no Bulldogs, and it was a Falcon shirt.
Found out today, Brock Bowers has signed an NIL deal. The greatest player in Georgia history has signed an NIL deal with no bull. I have joke about that. I don't have my tongue completely in my cheek, but a little bit. Listen, you guys all know what I think of Brock Bowers. And it's my dad's one of them. Okay. My dad is one of these traditionalist college football fans. NIL is going to ruin the sport. Oh no. You hear it all the time. Man, I love it. I do. Because I remember when Todd Gurley couldn't do what Todd Gurley should have been able to do. And AJ Green couldn't do what AJ Green was supposed to be able to do. And listen, just because you're going to college doesn't mean you shouldn't be able to do the most capitalistic thing ever. And that's capitalize on who you are. And that's your name, image, and likeness. And Brock Bowers has got a good deal with no bull. Great NIL deal, I'm sure. It's going to be tremendous. He's been with them. He's going to continue to be with them. He's going to go make just an absolute, bushel of cash in the NFL, several bushels of cash, and it's going to be wonderful. But good on that guy. Gave all the collective money back. We've already covered that part of it. Another NIL deal for him. That valuation keeps rising and rising. And again, he's worth every penny, and especially when you think about what he means to Georgia.